What's up, everybody? It's me, Joey P, Joe Pizzapia. And in reality, if we got everything that we wanted, chances are I'd be a little bit taller and probably have a little bit more hair on my beautiful, shiny, bald head. But that's reality where dreams don't always come true. In fantasy, though, we have an opportunity to get everything that we wanted. Maybe I can't get all these guys on the same team. That's probably never going to happen. But can I make investments in these 10 players for 2023? And will these 10 players take me to fantasy glory? I think the answer is yes. So before we get to the names on this list, don't forget to like this video, share, and subscribe to FantasyPros YouTube, the home of the greatest fantasy football content on the planet. And we're going to help you get to all those championships. So without further ado, let's get to my top 10 must-haves for 2023. Let's kick things off here with number 10, Lamar Jackson, quarterback of the Baltimore Ravens. It was not that long ago that Lamar Jackson was at the top of the fantasy pile. In fact, when he was MVP in the 2019 season, he threw for 3,000 yards and rushed for 1,200. Oh yeah, and the next year, all he did was rush for another 1,000. He was QB1 in 2019, QB9 in 2020. But for the last few years, health has been a real problem for Lamar Jackson and his supporting cast. Not to mention the play calling hasn't been great. Enter Todd Monken, new offensive coordinator for the Baltimore Ravens, and a new cast of wide receivers that includes Odell Beckham Jr. and rookie Zay Flowers. And all of a sudden, with a healthy J.K. Dobbins, this offense could be much more potent than people realize. Lamar got his big payday. He got his big contract extension. Now it's time for him to get back to putting up big numbers. And considering he's the 5th quarterback going off the board and has a chance still to finish as the number 1 fantasy point getter at the position, you're getting a bargain, which means you can wait, see when those first few QBs go off the board, then go pounce on Lamar Jackson. Whether it be in single quarterback leagues or in Superflex, Lamar Jackson is a target of mine this year in 2023 and one of my must-have players. Number 9, Ramone Stevenson, running back for the New England Patriots. Now, last year in half PPR, Ramone Stevenson finished as the RB10, and that was with an absolutely dreadful, horrible, no good play calling system with a bunch of jabronis who had no idea what the hell was going on in the offense. Now you got Bill O'Brien, a proven offensive coordinator who understands the Belichickian systems, and Ramone Stevenson is pretty much the lone wolf star of this backfield, which means he is going to get goal line carries. He is going to get volume. He is going to go well over 200 attempts this year. And last year he caught 69 passes. There's a good chance he matches that or even exceeds it in 2023 because there really aren't a lot of guys to compete in terms of target share. Yes, he only had 6 touchdowns last year. That is a problem, but this offense is going to be better, never great, but better year over year, which means Ramone Stevenson is a value going as the 10th running back off the board. And if you're like me and you like to draft wide receiver early and often in your drafts, then Ramone Stevenson is the perfect guy to take as your RB1 because he's being undervalued. The opportunity is going to be there, the volume is going to be there, the quality is going to be there, and that's all the reasons why he's a must-have for me in 2023. Number 8 on this list, I know this is going to be controversial, but please hear me out. Kyle Pitts, tight end of the Atlanta Falcons. I'm betting on talent here, and year over year, the price is significantly different. I understand last year was an absolute unmitigated disaster, but hey, he did double his touchdown total, right? From 1 to 2 year over year. Rejoice, fantasy football players. But really, when it comes down to Kyle Pitts, it comes down to targets and talent. And I think he's still got the talent, and I think the targets are still going to find him. Is Desmond Ridder the best quarterback on the planet? I think we can all unequivocally say no. But I do believe there's room for Kyle Pitts to improve. And when you're looking at the tight end position, once all the top tier guys are gone, there's only one guy that stands in the middle of this pack that has the opportunity to challenge for a top 3 spot. And his name is Kyle Pitts. So no matter what happened with the sophomore season, I think you have to shake it off Taylor Swift style and look back for Kyle Pitts in 2023 to rebound. Don't forget, as a rookie, he had over 1,000 yards receiving. And if he had just had 6 touchdowns, he would have gone from tight end 5 in 2021 to tight end 2. Like I said, the upside is too big to ignore at a position where you need to swing for the fences. So that's why Kyle Pitts is one of my must-haves for 2023. Number 7, Jerry Jeudy, wide receiver of the Denver Broncos. Last year was a historically bad season for the Denver Broncos offense. Enter Sean Payton, one of the great offensive minds of our generation. And there's every reason to believe that Jerry Jeudy can improve upon his wide receiver 26 finish. Last year, he had 100 targets. That's the second time in his 3-year career he's gone over that 100 target mark. And there's every reason to believe that it can't get any worse, right, in Denver, which means that right now he's being drafted as the wide receiver 23. This is a really good value for a guy who's going to be most likely the number 1 on his team looking for targets. When you consider Jerry Jeudy's ADP, he's going in a range of other wide receivers that have a ton of questions, whether it be new quarterbacks, their own health, or subsequent performance issues. Jerry Jeudy, all he has to do is basically be better in an offense that's getting an enormous upgrade in terms of offensive mind from Nathaniel Hackett, who was completely unprepared, to Sean Payton. So Jerry Jeudy, to me, is a safe, strong play that has more upside than people realize, sitting at around the 50th player overall. That's why he's one of my must-haves. Not every single pick here is going to be the quote-unquote sexy pick, but sometimes you need guys who are going to go out there and give you strong performances every week, and I think Jerry Jeudy can do that this season. Let's kick things up a notch in ADP to talk about number 6 on my list of must-have players, A.J. Brown, wide receiver of the Philadelphia Eagles. Am I the only person here that remembers that he had 1,496 yards receiving last season and 11 touchdowns, that he was the wide receiver 5 in fantasy and half-point PPR? Because for some reason, A.J. Brown is going at the turn at number 12, and I just don't understand this. This is an Eagles offense that is set up to dominate the NFC this year again, and let's not forget that Jalen Hurts missed a few games because of an injury. So A.J. Brown has potential, dare I say, for even more. Yes, he does so much after the catch. That's why we love A.J. Brown. But really, you're looking at a player in his prime. He had the 8th most fantasy points per game at the position with 15, a 29% target share, and the NFL's 6th highest air yard share at 39%. This guy is absolute fantasy gold. And when you're talking about some of the questions surrounding guys like Tyreek Hill and Stephon Diggs about some off-the-field stuff, A.J. Brown, who's being drafted after them, to me, is a value by comparison, and I would gladly take A.J. Brown over those guys right now because I got no questions about Brown on the field or off the field. I just want him on my roster for 2023. Let's take a quick break in the action to remind you all to drop a comment below in this video and subscribe to Fantasy Pros YouTube channel, because when you do, somebody, one of you, is going to win a 1-year free premium upgrade to Fantasy Pros. That's right, the greatest draft tools in the history of the fantasy football industry, the greatest lineup management tools, whether you're talking about making trades, making waiver wire pickups, drafting your team. Fantasy Pros premium tools will help you dominate all of your leagues. So drop the comment below, like this video, and don't forget to subscribe to Fantasy Pros, because when you click that little bell for notifications and subscribe, you might just win a 1-year free premium upgrade. And if you don't want to wait for that chance to win, well, just go premium today at fantasypros.com/premium to unlock all the tools to take you to the top of the fantasy mountain. And now back to the names on my must-have list. Number 5, Garrett Wilson, wide receiver of the New York Jets. It was a special rookie season for Garrett Wilson, and really something of an incredible feat that he somehow managed 1,100 receiving yards and 83 catches, with Joe Flacco and Zach Wilson throwing him the football. Oh yeah, and Mike White too. Gross. Garrett Wilson now has Aaron Rodgers throwing the football, and I don't want to get crazy here about how great Aaron Rodgers might be, but the one thing we know is if Garrett Wilson's capable of this baseline with 4 touchdowns last season, if we bump up that touchdown total to double digits, it's going to be a special season for Garrett Wilson. If you go ahead and draft early running backs, this is your opportunity at the 17th player off the board, wide receiver 10, to get a full-fledged, real-life wide receiver 1 on your roster. And the only reason he's going where he's going is because he hasn't done it yet. I'm going to emphasize the word yet here when it comes to Garrett Wilson, because he is in his spot right now to learn from a Hall of Fame quarterback in a play calling system that is going to be very familiar to Aaron Rodgers, where he basically has rule of the roost. I don't know what that means, but it sounds pretty good. So Garrett Wilson is a prime candidate to experience positive touchdown regression. That's a good thing. Garrett Wilson to the moon in 2023, and hopefully to a lot of my rosters and yours. Number 4 on our list is an oldie but a goodie. It's Nick Chubb, running back of the Cleveland Browns, and anybody who watches this show knows that I am the president of the Chubb Club. but Nick Chubb's value in 2023 might be better than it's been in quite some time. Last year, Nick Chubb finished as RB6 in 2022 in half PPR, but let me just kind of run down some stats for you. In 2019, 1,494 yards. In 2021, 1,259 yards. And last year, 1,525 yards. The touches are there. The quality of those carries is about to get a whole lot better because the upside of Deshaun Watson at quarterback is greater than anything that Nick Chubb has ever played with in his career, whether it be Baker Mayfield or Jacoby Brissett or anybody else. Nick Chubb does not have to fight anybody else in this backfield. Kareem Hunt is gone. The depth chart is light. I'm not saying he's going to go out there and catch 50 balls, but he might catch 40, and if he even improves on last year's career-high 13 touchdowns, because the Cleveland offense is just flat out better than it's been in his career, Nick Chubb could be in line for a huge season. If you look at the ADP currently, he is going as the 16th overall running back, a perfect spot, a perfect, safe, strong, upside running back to build your fantasy roster around. That's why I want Nick Chubb in 2023. Now it's time to talk premium assets, and let's start with number 3 on my must-have list, and it's Jalen Hurts, quarterback of the Philadelphia Eagles. Last year, Jalen Hurts had a near MVP season. In fact, before his injury, he actually went past Patrick Mahomes for the favorite of that award. You saw him last season rush for 760 yards, throw for 3,700 yards, and score a combined 19 touchdowns total. He missed some time with an injury, but if you're looking for faults with Jalen Hurts, it's pretty hard to find. You know the rushing floor is going to be there. The continuity of this offense year over year with personnel is going to be there. Really, the sky's the limit for Jalen Hurts, and he's not the first or second quarterback going off the board, which means if you want to go ahead and jump into the early quarterback business in single QB leagues, Hurts is probably the best return on investment that you can make. For number 2 on my must-have list, it's time for a leap of faith with Bijan Robinson, running back of the Atlanta Falcons. I know Bijan Robinson is a rookie, and I don't care. Ezekiel Elliott was a rookie, and he finished as RB2 overall in half PPR his first season. And if you're saying, well, Joe, Ezekiel Elliott had a much better team and offensive line, well, how about Saquon Barkley's rookie season on a 5-win awful Giants team with Eli Manning as a statue? Bijan Robinson can be the number 1 overall running back in fantasy. It is not an impossibility. When you look at the durability questions that Christian McCaffrey's had over the years, the way he was budgeted as the season goes on, you see Austin Eckler coming off back-to-back years of big, heavy workloads. Bijan Robinson is new, he is fresh, he is young, he can catch the football, he can run routes, he is not afraid of contact. He is going to be the guy in this backfield. Arthur Smith is going to run the football. Bijan Robinson is going to be the focal point of this offense. They're going to run a lot of play action off of Bijan Robinson, but part of that means establishing the run early and often. And I'm telling you right now, don't discount Bijan's opportunity to be the number 1 RB in fantasy. He is going as the 8th overall player, the RB3. But to me, in so many ways, because of that youth, he is a far better option than Christian McCaffrey at his price or Austin Eckler at his. Again, this is my opinion, but it's based in fact. The older the running backs get with the more workload on them, the less inspiring their fantasy returns are. I'm not knocking Christian McCaffrey or Eckler or anybody else like Saquon Barkley. All I'm saying is I think the new guy is the way to go, and I think Bijan Robinson is off to a very exciting start in 2023 to what could be one of the great fantasy careers that we've ever seen. Bijan Robinson is that dude. Bijan Robinson is going to be that good in 2023. And my number 1 must-have player for 2023, it's 2 years in a row. It's the same guy. It's Jamar Chase. Let me tell you why. We are sitting on a potential breakout, unbelievable all-world season from Jamar Chase. Justin Jefferson was my 1-1 overall pick last year because it was a safer play. However, Jamar Chase was still my biggest must-have because he has a quarterback in Joe Burrow that could put together a very special season. Last year was a tease of what could have been. Over 12 games, he had 1,046 yards 109 touchdowns. The year before, 1,455 yards with 13 touchdowns. He finishes wide receiver 4 that year, but I think there's a combination here where you could possibly see 15, 16 touchdowns from Jamar Chase with maybe 16 to 1,700 yards, and that would make Jamar Chase the most valuable asset in fantasy football. I'm telling you right now, we are on the precipice of an all-time great season from Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow, and the Cincinnati Bengals offense if everybody stays healthy and can play together for a full 17 games. Yes, Justin Jefferson is the consensus #1 wide receiver. I got no problem with that. Yes, Christian McCaffrey might be the consensus #1 overall pick. But for me, Jamar Chase is the guy that could surpass all of them when all is said and done, and that makes him my #1 must-have fantasy player for 2023. There you have it, everybody. Those are my top 10 must-haves for 2023. I want to hear from you. You tell me in the comments below on YouTube who your must-have players are, the ones that you are building around for fantasy championships, and we can have a fun conversation because that's what the pros like to do. And don't forget to click that little bell to let goes ding for notifications so you know every time a piece of content drops here on the channel. That'll do it for me, Joey P. We'll see you next time, kids.